Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Sagittarius, October 16, 2022. Be sure to watch for communications that don't express what you truly feel today. In addition, you could be reading too much into what others are saying. You owe it to yourself to look for the positive rather than worry about what you don't know. Consider that if you have too much on your plate, you may end up feeling quite hemmed in or restless. You have loads of motivation to achieve and produce as the day advances. The trick seems to be to identify what you find most valuable and then tune out distractions. Nevertheless, it's a good time to honor your needs to contribute and connect with the moon's move into your social sector today. Mental Mercury, our cosmic messenger, is doing a jig in your solar third house of short-distance travel today, and he will link in perfect rhythm with mighty Jupiter, our great benefic and the planet of miracles, now residing in your solar ninth house of expansion. Travel and adventure are the names of the game today. Regardless if single or attached, it's time to spice up your routine and leave the home base behind. Romance, flirtation, and laughter will blossom when you put yourself out there and see what new horizons await. Book a quick trip or venture out to a tasty restaurant in town. Who or what will you invest in? You might have a breakthrough either about a professional connection or aspiration that is worth pursuing when Mars in Gemini squares Neptune retrograde in Pisces. However, make sure all of your ducks are in a row to appropriately invest in your opportunities. It might be best to gather as much information as possible to make a logical decision that will lead to abundance, since Mercury in Libra is also opposing Jupiter retrograde in Aries. Talk to your colleagues, friends, or do some research on your opportunities. 2 days after Mercury left your income sector, and just as the dwarf planet Ceres is now settled in for the long haul, the moon wraps up one of its most important visits to your career sector for the year. Less because of anything this might have triggered, and more because over the last few days it not only connected with planets across the income, work, and career fronts, but just as they are in the positions they will now stay in for the rest of the year. When you feel you're at the end of your rope, you tend to disengage from others. This may work, but it does have a more abrupt side that upsets your health in subtle but serious ways. When you detach from others, you detach from yourself. This sends ripple effects throughout your whole body. It tells your stomach it's hungry even if it's not. It tells you to sleep instead of staying active, etc. Keeping an eye on yourself is key. Come now, don't get all discouraged for nothing. It's true, the vibrations are a little bit difficult, so they won't be very encouraging, but these difficulties will progressively go away and leave room for some brighter days. Above all, you will have to get into a rhythm and get your life a bit in order. Indeed, you tend to give too much importance to unimportant things, and you regularly let yourself be overwhelmed by banal situations that don't pose many difficulties. You have the keys to success, but you still have to find the right door. Keep looking. What makes a friendly aspect between Venus in your communication sector and Saturn in retrograde motion in your relationship sector significant is not just the timing, but the fact that it comes just 2 days after the Sun formed the same aspect. With Saturn turning direct in your relationship sector at the end of next week and Venus leaving your communication sector just a few hours later, this is a powerful chance to give your relationships, the past, and unsaid words a voice. It will be another 3 decades before Venus and Saturn come together here again. What makes a friendly aspect between Venus, the planet of love in your communication sector, and Saturn, in retrograde motion in your relationship sector, even more significant than it already is the timing. With Venus ending her mission to give your heart and your relationships a voice at the end of next week, and Saturn ending his last retrograde phase in your relationship sector for another 3 decades on the same day, they have joined forces with perfect timing. Our eyes in the sky. The day starts with an active moon shifting from the love lesson of Taurus to detail-oriented Gemini. It's time to make a plan and stick to it. This is a cycle when you're editing certain realms regarding news, technology, and even conversations with others. With this, You might also feel like you're being given a very specific choice. You're going to have to take the middle ground in many situations for now to keep your mind in the right place. It's time to think about how you might be taking other people's word for money matters or buying into an investment scheme that's too good to be true. Someone may be giving you a hard sell concerning a stock, IRA, or bond. You need more time to consider the best path for you. Be firm but polite, and make sure you get the time you need. You know best. The Gemini moon could stir the pot, so staying away from gossip is strongly advised. The light of the sun shines brightly, however. The energy wants to dig at your inner fears beyond what you can fully process on your own. There's a marked psychological aspect to these transits. Maybe you want to make a major change right now and are met with some resistance and challenges. Remember that it really has to do with what your heart feels. These shifts are pointing out a new life for you. As Venus in Libra trines Saturn in Aquarius late tonight, the strategy of surrendering to the divine is what can open many doors for you. In the morning, the Gemini moon sextiles Saturn in Aquarius, offering an emotionally steady start to the day. Under this influence, we are introspective, pondering life's meaning. We wish to make our mark on the world, and with this idealistic aspiration tempered by a pragmatic strategy, we have a good chance of doing so. Hard work is taken up in the spirit of adventure. Old problems can be tackled with a novel approach. It's a good time to speak to elders and take a cue from their playbooks. Discover the causes that drove those who came before you to make a difference. What was their inspiration? You have a tense relationship between home and career this week. You might be overwhelmed with work or feel like your career presents way too many obstacles now. At the same time, your home life and inner feelings are tumultuous at best. Establish a balance by keeping a close eye on your cash flow to help ease the stress. Things are looking up from there. It's a week full of challenges for you. Your dreams could be more than just a source of inspiration. Their images and ideas will help you determine the business you'd be good at and how to move forward in that area. You also need to shore up your savings. Change is coming and you'll want to be prepared. Following this, the moon opposes Mars in Gemini, provoking irritation. We've established our morning plan with the intent to make headway, but distractions push us off course. People may require our assistance. Although we want to help, we also feel put out. Why can't they figure this out themselves? Instead of succumbing to frustration, consider temporarily delaying personal plans to aid others. We won't get much accomplished during this commotion anyhow. It's best to address this issue and return to our own interests when things have calmed down.